The entire forest was terrified of a giant white lion whose strength was equal to that of 2 lions. No one could stand against him until Mufasa appeared, a lost lion without a home. He was the only one who decided to face him. The story begins when all the animals of the kingdom gather after Simba asks them to come. In the middle of the gathering, Simba announces that there will soon be a new member of the family. All the animals rejoice when they learn that Nala is expecting a new cub. On the other side, Nala has gone far from the kingdom to find a safe place to give birth. When she finds the right spot, she settles in and waits for Simba's arrival. Meanwhile, Simba is waiting for Timon and Pumbaa. When they arrive, he asks them to stay with his daughter Kiara and take care of her until he returns with Nala. Before leaving, he instructs them not to frighten Kiara or tell her any of their strange stories. He then reassures his daughter, telling her he is going to get her mother and will return quickly. Indeed, he leaves her with Timon and Pumbaa and sets off to find Nala. However, after Simba leaves, the weather suddenly changes. Rain falls, a strong storm begins, and Kiara feels afraid. To distract her, Timon and Pumbaa decide to tell her a story. They start boasting, claiming they were the ones who defeated the lion Scar. Kiara retorts that her father was the one who defeated Scar. They try to convince her that Simba might have told her the story differently. At that moment, Rafiki arrives. As soon as Kiara sees him, she runs to him, saying her parents left her. Rafiki reassures her, saying they haven't abandoned her and will return soon. To make her forget her fear, he begins telling her the story of her grandfather, Mufasa. This is where the main story begins. In the past, Mufasa lived with his mother and father in a parched land. The water had disappeared, the land became barren, and there wasn't enough prey for the animals. One day, young Mufasa spots a distant light on the horizon and asks his mother about it. She tells him that the light represents hope. She tells him about a place beyond the last cloud called Milele, a place with water and food, everything they need to survive. Mufasa asks if they will go there one day, and she promises him they surely will. Suddenly, black clouds cover the sky. The first drop of rain falls on Mufasa's head, and within seconds, the downpour intensifies. All the animals rejoice at finally seeing water after a long drought, but the joy is short-lived. The river level rises rapidly, and a massive flood hits the area. Mufasa is swept away by the water, and his father runs after him to save him. The current takes them both, but his father manages to grab him and throw him toward the shore. Mufasa tries to return to his mother, but reaches a large gap he cannot cross. His mother encourages him to jump, but he is too afraid to move. In the chaos, an elephant accidentally bumps into him, and Mufasa falls back into the river. The current carries him far away from his family. The next day, Mufasa opens his eyes to find himself in a strange place miles from home. There, he sees another cub named Taka. Taka warns him that being in this place is dangerous and that any predator could attack him. Before Mufasa can move, 2 crocodiles appear and begin chasing him. Mufasa runs to escape, and Taka tries to help him. Before the crocodiles can catch them, Taka's mother arrives and saves them both. She scolds Taka for going out alone, but he asks her to take Mufasa with them. At first, she refuses, but at Taka's insistence, she agrees and decides to treat Mufasa as one of her own. When they return to their pride, Obasi, Taka's father, rejects Mufasa's presence. Obasi says they do not trust strangers and that true bonds are those of blood. He orders Mufasa to leave their land. Mufasa challenges him, saying that if he runs, no one will be able to catch him because he is the fastest cub in the world. Obasi decides to hold a race between Mufasa and Taka. The condition is that if Taka wins, Mufasa must leave immediately. But if Mufasa wins, he can stay. The race begins, and both sprint at full speed. However, Mufasa is exhausted because he hasn't eaten or drunk in a long time. On the way back, Taka takes the lead and is very close to winning. Taka, having started to consider Mufasa a brother, intentionally slows down to let Mufasa win and save him from being expelled. Mufasa wins, and Obasi is forced to keep his promise. However, he decides Mufasa will not live among the male lions, but will live and train with the lionesses. Taka's mother understands her son lost on purpose, and instead of being upset, she is proud of his courage. Mufasa and Taka spend many years together, playing and training until they grow up, and their relationship turns into true brotherhood. One day, while returning to the Pride, they decide to play a prank on the elders. They run in screaming that a massive herd of elephants is coming and that everyone must flee. All the lions panic, including Obasi. They soon discover it was just a prank. Obasi becomes angry and tells Mufasa he will never be a brother to Taka, and that his place is not among the males. After they are dismissed, Obasi tells Taka he is his heir and will one day be king. However, Taka says he wants to go out with his mother and Mufasa to learn how to hunt. Obasi refuses, preferring his son stay with him. Meanwhile, Aisha, Taka's mother, begins teaching Mufasa how to hunt, explaining how to use the wind and scent to track prey. Taka watches from afar, wishing he could learn too. At the same time, two large white lions enter the area looking for prey. Isha senses danger, and Mufasa notices them too. Taka is overcome with fear. The white lions abandon their prey and attack Isha. Mufasa immediately runs to defend her, while Taka flees in fear. Mufasa faces the two lions alone. When one of them grabs Isha, Mufasa charges with all his might, knocking the lion into a tree, killing him. The second lion flees. Mufasa and Eshe return to the Pride injured. When Obasi asks what happened, Eshe tells him that two white lions attacked them, and that Mufasa saved her life, while Taka ran away. Taka feels ashamed, realizing he abandoned his mother. Mufasa warns them that the attack isn't over and that the wind tells him the white lions will return within a day. Obasi doesn't believe him easily and sends one of his men to the white lion's land to verify. It turns out the lion Mufasa killed was the son of Kiros, the leader of a massive group of white lions. Kiros is furious. Instead of showing mercy to the lion who returned alone, he orders his group to kill him too. Obasi's spy sees this and returns to warn them that Kiros is coming for revenge and that each of his lions has the strength of two. Obasi realizes they are facing a losing battle. To preserve his bloodline, he tells Taka to flee and start a new life in a distant land, ordering Mufasa to go with him and protect him. Mufasa initially refuses to leave Isha, but she tells him to look toward the light. She says that beyond the Black Valleys, there is a great land called Milele. She tells him his real family might still be waiting for there. She encourages Taka, saying his chance to prove his courage will come. But for now, they must leave. The two brothers begin their journey to find Milele. Shortly after they leave, Kiros arrives with his army and attacks Obasi's land, killing Obasi and his lions. They then set off after Mufasa and Taka. During the chase, the brothers reach the edge of a deep canyon and find themselves trapped. Before Kiros can attack, Taka grabs Mufasa and jumps into the canyon. They hang onto a branch, thinking they are safe, but see Kiros and his lions jumping into the water after them. Mufasa and Taka let go and let the current take them, managing to escape temporarily. Taka boasts about saving Mufasa's life. Suddenly, Mufasa senses they are being watched. It turns out a clever lioness named Sarabi had been following them for a whole day, accompanied by a bird named Zazu. They join Mufasa and Taka. While searching for food, the story shifts to a group of monkeys living in a massive tree, including a young Rafiki. Rafiki could see danger in his dreams before it happened. He tried to warn his troop of a disaster, but they thought he was crazy. The next night, a leopard attacks. Instead of admitting Rafiki was right, they blame him, calling him a jinx and exile him. Rafiki wanders alone until he meets Mufasa and his friends, who are ready to attack him as prey. Mufasa tries to scare him, but Rafiki remains unfazed. Mufasa says they could eat him, but Rafiki calmly responds that if they do, they will never reach Milele. Mufasa is shocked and asks how he knows that name. Rafiki says he has been there many times in his dreams. Mufasa decides to trust him. Rafiki leads the group to the Black Valleys. Using the wind, Mufasa discovers Kiros is still behind them and closing in fast. During the journey, Taka begins to like Sarabi. He asks Mufasa for advice on how to impress her. Mufasa suggests talking about the flowers from her homeland. Taka tells her she smells like a specific flower. Sarabi is impressed and starts getting closer to him. When the group reaches the top of the valley, they find a massive herd of elephants blocking the path, just as Kiros arrives from the other side. Mufasa asks the elephants for help, but they refuse. Sarabi thinks quickly and drops a beehive from a tree onto them. The bees attack the elephants, causing a massive stampede. However, the plan puts the group in danger. Sarabi falls from the tree and is knocked unconscious by an elephant. Mufasa runs to save her, while Taka is paralyzed by fear. Mufasa pulls Sarabi to safety. The stampede forces Kiros to retreat and find another way. During the chaos, Rafiki falls from the tree and finds the mysterious staff he will carry later. Rafiki uses his gourds to wake the unconscious Sarabi. When she asks who saved her, Mufasa, not wanting to hurt Taka, says it was Taka. Taka is surprised, but Sarabi believes it and admires him more. As they near Milele, Zazu flies behind them, dropping snow over their tracks to prevent Kiros from following. Sarabi hugs Mufasa in joy, which Taka sees and dislikes. Later, Rafiki trips, and Mufasa carries him on his back. Sarabi notices Mufasa using the same expressions he used when he supposedly didn't save her. She puts the details together and confronts Mufasa privately. She tells him she knows the truth, that he was the one who knew the scent of the flowers and the one who saved her from the elephants. Taka watches them from a distance. Mufasa tries to defend his brother, saying Taka saved his life before, but eventually admits the truth. Mufasa and Sarabi grow closer. Taka feels Mufasa has taken everything from him, remembering his father's warning about strangers. Taka wanders off and the ground collapses under him, sending him falling down a mountain. At the bottom, he finds Kiros and his group, who are lost. Consumed by anger, Taka decides to betray Mufasa. He tells Kiros that Mufasa killed his son and offers to lead them to him. Taka and Kiros strike a deal. The next day, Taka returns to the group, claiming he was hunting. As they continue, Taka intentionally leaves marks for Kiros to follow. Finally, they reach Milele. It is more beautiful than they imagined, green valleys and flowers everywhere. Rafiki finds the tree from his dreams. Mufasa asks about the brother Rafiki saw in his dreams. Rafiki explains that his own brother was lost long ago, and the person in his dreams was actually Mufasa. Many animals gather around Mufasa, recognizing him from when he was a cub before the flood. But Kiros arrives and surrounds Mufasa. Kiros reveals that Taka led them there. Mufasa realizes he has been betrayed. Taka angrily claims everything should have been his, but Mufasa took the love of their parents, Sarabi, and his place. Kiros attacks. Mufasa uses his speed to lead Kiros to a deep gap, causing him to fall. Mufasa climbs the mountain and lets out a powerful roar, gathering the animals of Milele. He tells them he is a lost lion, but asks them to stand with him. He convinces them that if they don't unite, Kiros will destroy Milele. The animals decide to fight. A massive battle ensues. Mufasa is cornered by 3 lionesses and falls into a dark pit. He calls to Taka for help, but Taka leaves him. In the darkness, Kiros appears behind a waterfall and attacks. Kiros is stronger and nears killing Mufasa. Taka watches and, remembering their childhood, intervenes at the last moment. Mufasa is saved, but Taka receives a deep wound to his eye. Together they fight Kiros, but Kiros remains dominant. Outside, Kiros's army begins to win. Rafiki performs a ritual and the earth begins to shake. The mountain collapses, forming what will later be Pride Rock. A massive rock falls near Mufasa and Kiros as the ground gives way into the water. Underwater, Kiros tries to kill Mufasa, but Mufasa maneuvers him into the path of a falling giant boulder, which crushes Kiros. Mufasa struggles to the surface and Taka helps him up to safety. Sarabi arrives and Taka quietly leaves. The animals recognize Mufasa as their king and bow. Rafiki tells him there are more surprises. Mufasa's mother, Afia, appears. He runs to her, realizing his dream of returning home has come true. Taka reappears, and some animals want him exiled for his betrayal. Mufasa does not exile him, but decrees that the name Taka shall never be spoken again. From that moment, he is named Scar. Mufasa ascends his throne and roars across Milele. Returning to the present, Rafiki finishes his story to Kiara. Simba returns with Nala and their new cub. Kiara is overjoyed to see her little brother. Rafiki looks to the sky and smiles, as if Mufasa is still watching over his family and the kingdom from afar. That is the end of our film. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.